What is up, everybody? Koinonia Trader here. It is Friday, January 31st, the last day of the month. I took one trade today, and that trade was this long that you see here on the screen. It actually hit further for my my first price target that I really wanted, which was right up here for a nice 1.8 risk to reward. But let's get into why I took this trade and how you could have taken it as well. So starting out on the 4-hour time frame, we have been bullish for I don't know, a while now, right? It seems like since January 27th, so the beginning of this week, we've been bullish all week. Off of this price drop right here, I know everybody has been targeting this price gap fill right there, which we finally got today. But if you notice, we also have a 4-hour fair value gap sitting on here. Now, me personally, I thought that after filling this fair value gap and closing above it like we did today, we were going to end up seeing higher prices going all the way up to this draw on liquidity up here. But clearly the market had other plans, and that is totally fine, because we're reactive traders, we're not predictive traders. So coming into the market today, I came in with a bullish bias, mainly because as you can see here, we have a 4-hour imbalance right there that got inverted. We've been holding this 4-hour fair value gap right there. We also had another fair value gap here that had not gotten broken yet, and as well as this one right here. So we had a couple of areas of confluence on the 1 hour to show bullish order flow. Now dropping down to the 1 hour, did I say 1 hour? I meant 4 hour, but anyway, now here on the 1 hour chart, we also had the same thing. 1 hour fair value gaps holding price on up. It was like a slow grind kind of, but overall, like I said, bullish. There was really no reason for us to be bearish in the morning. And so I was looking for a long setup all morning, especially during the macro time frames. So as soon as the market opened up, as you can see, we had a couple of 15-minute fair value gaps as well. We had one right here that I had marked out. I don't know why I didn't put it. So we had a 15-minute fair value gap right there where we bounced once. We took out the high from London session around 7 a.m., rejected off of that, bounced once again, failing to sweep that low, so created a higher low. And as well as having higher highs, showed bullishness, and then the market opens up and we just rip right away. Just a strong continuation on up. So clearly the objective was to reach higher. And so I looked for areas where it could reject, and I was going to see if I can get some kind of continuation play. I figured because we were already up here above that 4-hour fair value gap that I talked about previously, that we were just going to have a buy day of just continuously shooting on up and really no reason for it to come back down. So dropping into the 1 minute time frame, I did miss the first setup that occurred during the 950 to 1010 macro. So if you take a look right here, 950 to 1010, those are the time frames that I usually look at for a trade. I missed the initial setup right here, right? You can see that price, sorry, not that one, right here. It was a very, very small 1 minute fair value gap, so small, but it did invert it. We also did have this 1 minute imbalance right here where price taps into, strongly reacts out of it. So had I taken this trade right here, I actually missed it. I was doing something else while the charts were open, and by the time I saw price was up here. So it was a little too late for me, but it's all good. So if I had taken that trade right there, I was targeting this higher 15-minute fair value gap, that would have been a nice 1 to 2 risk to reward, and I would have had little to no drawdown at all in this trade. But I waited for some kind of continuation, something with an even stronger fair value gap to invalidate. So as you can see, that was this one right here. We had this 1 minute bearish fair value gap that got created as a small retracement down into this 1 minute here, found support within it, bounced off of it. As soon as this candle closed above it, that's when I market ordered in. I could have put my limit order down here if I really wanted to, but it was okay. And so price started to chop in this area, and I started to notice that it was building this trend line liquidity right there. Now, I don't use that often, nor do I trade trend lines, but it's just something to look at. And when I saw that we got this very strong candle closure outside of it, I felt very good about the trade continuing on up. And as you can see, price came up here. I did not like that it stalled and it started to drop a little bit, came right back up once again. And when it started to hit this area right there again, I was like, you know what, it's Friday. I'm going to get out of this trade because I'm up really nice on the week. I don't want to give back any profits, so I'm just going to close the trade. It's a little over a 1-to-1. And I was totally fine with that on a Friday. There's nothing wrong with taking profits. So that was the trade that I took. And then of course we end up getting that very strong rejection in the PM. I was tape reading after the fact. Here I saw this long trade, this trade idea right here. It was after the macro. But the thing that I failed to realize was the fact that we invalidated a 5-minute fair value gap, right? As you can see right here, we failed to close within it and hold it. We actually we closed below it, started to come back up. We held, was there any other fair value gap there? No. We didn't hold anything else. So as you can see, price comes up. We end up getting this lower high created, and then we have this 5-minute fair value gap right there. This one right here. That price then invalidates very strongly right here. This right here was actually during the 110 to 140 PM macro. So this was a very good invalidation right there. Put your stop above the high, and you could have targeted what would have been just a retracement for us, right? Because we are expecting upside. So you could have taken a 1 to 2 risk to reward on this, would have been right there. Okay, around the 50% mark of that 15-minute FEG right there. So perfect entry, or perfect take profit, and it would have hit really quick. I know there was some kind of news event with Trump that happened in the PM session which caused this drop, but you know, it was in the PA. It showed up in the PA in the macro, so very good reason to go short. As you can see, the invalidation of that 5-minute, especially because we almost invalidated it here and then failed to continue going on higher. That lower high, it was just all textbook. So, you know, I did not expect such a big drop. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I did not expect this kind of a drop. And now looking at price action, I mean, I still think we have a chance to go higher. Call me crazy. But the reason why I think that, it's going to depend on what happens on Sunday. But as you can see, we have these higher highs, higher lows. And now we ended up putting in a higher low right there. So what's the next apparent thing that could happen would be a higher high. The only thing that has me kind of iffy about that is the fact that we invalidated 2 bullish fair value gaps. The first one that we see is right here, right? That was very weak closure below, but now we finally have a very strong closure below that. And then of course the one from this opening range gap that we had here too, closed very strongly below that 4-hour. Now, on the weekly chart, I think we have room to go down. So I'm kind of like in the middle of both bullish and bearish. The reason why I'm bearish is because, well, we have a daily fair value gap right there that we are still holding. And as you can see, we have created lower highs. We did get a sort of market structure shift and failed to take out that low. So it really depends what's going to happen on Sunday, leading into Monday. And then, of course, what happened Monday will determine what's going to happen for the rest of the week. So we'll see. Hopefully you guys ended up green today. I hope that you ended your week really well, that you did not give back any of your gains. And I will see you guys all next week. Have a great weekend. Peace.